Okay, so it's that time of year again, isn't it? Everywhere you look, it's all about fresh starts and becoming a new you. But what if that's not actually what you need right now? Let's take a look at a completely different way to approach the year ahead.
Let's just forget all the hype for a minute. Can we just be honest? You're probably tired. And I don't just mean sleepy. I mean that deep in your bones, soul-level tired that comes from a whole year of just trying to keep up. The last thing you need is another year of hustle, right? It's exhausting just thinking about it. So here's the thought. What if this year wasn't about some radical reinvention? What if, instead, it was about coming home to yourself? Not trying to fix or reject the person you are right now, but actually, finally, listening to them.
And look, this isn't about giving up, not at all. It's about getting off that hamster wheel, that endless cycle of self-betrayal that, let's face it, so many resolutions are built on. It's about giving yourself permission to just be.
So let's dig into why we feel this way every single year. We can call it the resolution hangover, and it comes from buying into this huge myth of the fresh start.
I mean, this really breaks down the problem, doesn't it? So often traditional resolutions come from a place of shame. The underlying message is you're not good enough as you are. And your body, your nervous system, it hears that as a threat, not as motivation. So what happens? Your whole system resists. And the result is that familiar burnout, that feeling that you've already failed, again.
And this right here is so important to hear. That exhaustion you're feeling, it is not failure. It's feedback. It's actually your body's incredibly intelligent way of sending you data, saying, hey, this approach, it's not working for us. Something is seriously out of alignment here.
Okay, so that brings us to the big pivot. If forcing change and hustling harder doesn't work, then what does? Well, the answer lies in shifting our focus away from managing our time and toward understanding our energy.
Just think about it for a second. An hour spent on something that totally lights you up feels completely different than an hour spent on something that just drains you dry, right? Time is fixed. We all get 24 hours. But our energy? That's dynamic. That's the real currency.
It really helps to think of yourself as an ecosystem. You have inputs and outputs, things that nourish you and things that deplete you. So the key isn't some color-coded, perfectly managed to-do list. It's about creating a more balanced, thriving inner ecosystem.
So how do we actually map this ecosystem of ours? Well, we can use a really simple but powerful framework that's based on 4 key quadrants of energy.
Okay, this is the practical tool right here. First, you've got your drainers. These are the things that actively suck the life out of you. Then you have restorers, which quietly give that energy back. You've got expanders, which are the good kind of stretch. They help you grow in a way that feels right. And then you have the distorters. Oh man, these are the tricky ones. They feel good in the moment, like scrolling on your phone for an hour, but they totally cost you later. Just knowing the difference between these 4 is a total game changer.
So, what's the goal of all this mapping? It's this one beautiful word, congruence. It's not perfection, it's not productivity just for the sake of it. It's that deep, settled feeling you get when what you're doing on the outside truly matches who you are on the inside. That feeling, that's our new definition of a successful year.
All right, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But where do you actually start? The good news is it's way simpler than you think. This isn't about a massive, life-altering overhaul. It's about one small, strategic shift.
It all begins with a simple little energy audit. For just 2 days, that's it, 48 hours. Just notice. Don't judge yourself, just observe. Does this activity make me feel lighter or heavier? Then take a minute to categorize your observations into those 4 quadrants we talked about. And finally, commit to making one tiny strategic change. That's the whole plan.
See how achievable this is? You don't have to fix your entire life overnight. Just pick one thing that really drains you and do a little less of it this week. And pick one thing that truly restores you and do just a little more of it. That right there, that's the beginning of a massive shift. This quote completely reframes the act of saying no. It's not about being selfish or rejecting other people. It's an act of honoring yourself. It's about sacred curation, actively, thoughtfully choosing what gets to take up space in your life. And all of this leads to the final core idea of this whole approach. We are consciously moving away from the old model of force and discipline and stepping into a new model of rhythm and flow.
I mean, the difference is just so stark when you see it side by side. A regimen is rigid, it's based on force, and it's all about measuring output. But a rhythm is fluid. It's based on flow. It chases that feeling of congruence, and its goal is cultivating peace. We're not trying to become more efficient robots. We're trying to become more integrated humans.
This one hits hard for a lot of us, right? We've been taught our whole lives that rest is something you earn, that it's a prize for being productive. But it's not. It's a fundamental part of the rhythm of a healthy life. It's just as necessary as breathing.
So just remember this. The goal here isn't to build a new, perfect, color-coded schedule that you're just going to abandon by February anyway. The goal is to find your own personal rhythm, a sustainable, gentle way of living that truly honors your natural energy.
And this really is the foundation for everything. Your worth is inherent. It was never up for debate. It doesn't go up when you're productive and down when you're resting. And peace isn't the prize you get at the finish line. It is the very soil you need to stand on for your truest self to even begin to grow.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. What if you designed your entire year around this single idea? What would actually change if your main goal wasn't to achieve more, but simply to feel more aligned, more at peace, more like yourself? What would that year even look like?